And it's not the stress. It's never the stress. It's the way we react to what happens to us. It's never what life gives you. It's what you do with it what gives you. And that's why, maybe in here, when I asked you to come up and talk, some of you may have had a stress reaction of 10. Others may have had a stress reaction of 0 because they enjoy that. And they're a little bit narcissistic. Right? So it was the same stimulus, different reactions. So it's never the stress. It's how we see. So when it's chronic and we're perceiving it as life or death all the time, this happens, right? Adrenaline, cortisol, and so on and so forth. Pumps into blood. There is a reason for that. It's getting you ready for action. It's good. This is not bad. And then you've got to see the glucose level go up. Why? Because you need glucose for energy, to run, to fight, right? Cholesterol is important because guess what? Cortisol is a derivative of cholesterol, correct? That's why when you're stressed, your cholesterol level is through the roof. And this plays havoc on the entire organism. Brain, heart, immune system, receptors in the brain. Even your chromosome, for those who are experts here, there's something called the telomeres, which are in the chromosome, and they're associated with longevity, right? Under chronic stress, guess what? The telomeres shrink. Which means you're shrinking, potentially, your lifespan. People gain weight when they're stressed. Why? Because the body is not crazy. Brain is saying, hey, you're stressed. Which means we need to accumulate the fat because you may need it. This is going to be a long, drawn-out fight. People get wrinkled. Why? Because the collagen breaks down under the skin because of the hormones. The body is perfect. But has anybody read the instruction manual when we were born? On how the brain functions and all this, how this works? I mean, we read it when we buy a microwave oven, right? But nobody really sat down and, hey, you're born, I'm going to read to you the instruction manual on how to use yourself. So, in the private practice, we look at distressing or people coming in with distress from 2 angles. Many more angles, but I'm going to cover the 2 principal ones. One is what's called cognitively based therapy. And the intent there is to challenge the thought and reframe the thought so that the individual looks at his or her situation in a different way that may help them relieve that distress. No, you're not going to die. Yes, you will find another job. I know divorce is tough, but you'll make it, and here is why, and let's talk about it, okay? You're reframing. Spending a lot of time on reframing and challenging the thought. The second way, which I'm now beginning to integrate in my practice, is mindfulness psychotherapy. And the distinction here is important because here we don't want to challenge necessarily the thought or frame it. All we want to help the client to do is acknowledge and accept. Sounds weird, but you push against the wall and the wall will push back. You push against a thought and the thought will push back, right? So in mindfulness, what we want to do is, so this is how you're feeling? Okay, recognize though, acknowledge that what you're feeling is thought-based. Even though I don't have any more money, I understand, it's not very pleasant. Yeah, but I'm going to be like playing guitar in Ucamberi pretty soon. That may not be it, but that's my imagination now going, right? Acknowledge the thought. You feel sad, accept the sadness. That's okay. That's the base. And now, in a lot of therapies, we combine both, and we call this mindfulness cognitive-based psychotherapy.